my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Help!
Here,
Oh.
take my hand.
Ah!
Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No, give me your other hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No! Get it away from me!
Take it. Take my hand.
Ah!
After a big afternoon of shopping, there's nothing better than some Mexican food and a nice little drink. Come on down and enjoy a nice Mexican fiesta.
Guess what? We took everything you love about the Bloomin' Onion and created a menu you've never seen before.
Let me hear you say, Bloom that ass. Bloom that ass.
This bloomified menu starts at $13.99 and it's gonna blow your bloomin' mind.
Yo, what is up, everybody? How are you doing today? Man, double Somber Day. I just realized it's friggin' September 11 for you guys over there. We had that yesterday. But welcome here. Nonetheless, I thought, yeah, dying already. Early morning, 8:20. I got my tea here. I thought it's time I get back on. I didn't stream yesterday. I don't think I would have been a lot of fun anyway. I didn't really feel like talking about art. I suppose it was appropriate. Rob was sick. I was going to go solo. But I didn't think anyone really cared about anything else other than Charlie Kirk yesterday, which is completely understandable. I was the same. It's probably still going to be like that for a week. As is appropriate. I did see DG is streaming. Moremi says, scooping DG lot. Hey, I normally do my draw streams at this time. I understand. Shout out to Paulus Arts. Did a political cartoon yesterday and got like, I don't know, 100,000 likes or something, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. Critical reads in the chat. Are you ready, sir? It's all kicking off tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about. the Coctagon. I know it seems weird. Like I'm not back into normal mode just yet. Charlie was like a big part of this house, and he was like my daughter. He's really like my daughter's number one hero, favorite person out there. So yeah, it's been very somber here. Obviously for the last day. But at the same time, it's important to not just completely get stuck on one track. Got to get back into things at some point. There's lots of people out there doing their thing, making sure the whole everything is happening as it needs to happen. But it's like this. It's like this anytime there's an event like that. But I do feel like this is different. I do feel that. I think a lot of people do, and it's a massive like COVID was a huge mask off moment for a lot of us. This, and it's a lot of young because it's mostly young people who are fans of Charlie, and they're seeing their teachers and people in authority and celebrities having a massive mask off moment. And yeah, talk about I was talking about this to my mother last night. I was saying, like, for my daughter who's 13, this is like, it's almost like her 9/11, funnily enough, that it's happening on, around 9/11. That moment where we were just like, the world is not what you think it is, kind of thing. We got a dark gift raid. Shout out to DG. There we go. Welcome everybody. I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of coloring. Sumo says Bankrock can't find a mask big enough to cover the forehead. Funny you should say that. Do you see that? Do you see that V for Vendetta mask behind me? So Mel and I went as V, but kind of like the people who dress up as V, at the end of the movie. This was during the COVID lockdowns. We thought there's no one else we would rather go as on Halloween than that. So we got the thing, we got the masks, we got the hat, which was that hat that I wore the other day, close as I could get. But the mask was not. No, I guess I have a fat head. It didn't cover my whole head, so it's sort of, you could see my chubby flesh around the outside of the mask. It didn't really and October is warm usually, you Hey, I've since lost a lot of weight. I should try it on. Not right now, but maybe, maybe in another 10 kilos I'll try on the V for Vendetta mask. I really needed the wig to sell it because it didn't cover flesh. Yeah, it had to be. That was it. I was like, and we were just there was a curfew, lockdowns. The government was lying to our faces and trying to inject us with stuff. Put it on, Sumo says. All right, one sec. Damn you. It's it was sitting, it's on my turned around Darth Maul. Okay, here we go. You ready? Hold on a sec. Let me turn the camera off so you can get the full effect. I wish I still had my V for Vendetta clip. I don't have that anymore. Would have been apropos. But no, let me here we go.
I am a maverick. I am a savage. I am a legend. I am a madman. You never know what I'm going to do next. I am a mad lad.
Actually looks pretty good. It's like the elastic is all worn out, so it's not really holding on. It keeps falling down. Like you can see my eyes there. It actually looks good. That's just goes to show how much weight I've lost. But you can see that in the video. You can see that in the friggin' phenomenal video. Damn, I might rock this a bit more often. All I need is a wig. Hang on a sec. It does fall. Look at that. You can barely. I can't really. It's like citizens of London. We need to have a little chat. There's something terribly wrong in this country, isn't there? Why that's I so that's just how it is. You can look, you can see there. You see if it goes up to my there you go. There we go. I think it's a fault of the mask. It's not big enough. But I probably need to wear like a black thing underneath it. Anyway, all right, enough of this. Where was I? Oh, actually, no, you're right. You're not on that. Yes. No, I was getting you confused with someone else. Critical reads. It's not too bad. I was expecting to see flesh. No, it trust me. What I mean, look at it. Where is it? Where the bloody hell is it? Look at the girth on the face. I mean, that's embarrassing. Mel is constantly. We need to remake that video. I'm sick of seeing Chunk Croft every stream, like a jackal. I haven't even said hello to the chat. Hello, welcome everybody to the chat here. Bretsky the Great was first. Where are we here? Where are we? Let's put him up. Pride of place with this Hugengus logo there. 4th for the year. I'll say hello to Creators Outlet, Creative Welshman, and Jav Styler. We got Comics Legend. We have Sumo Thori, Crenshaw, Moromi. I see Corey Landis, Critical Reeves, Mr. Monkey Boy, Kirk Fashy is here. What's up, Kirk? We got Shadow Punk. You can definitely be on the Coctagon tomorrow. I still need to find another judge, actually. I've got to sort that out. We've got Dean Comics Mate, who actually, it turns out, came up with the name Coctagon. I wasn't aware. I just thought it came from the ether, but apparently not. It came from the ether out of Dean's mouth into the recesses of my brain, and then that's where it lodged until I remembered it. Hey, Jake, do you want to be a judge? What does the cock winner get? I don't know. Do I see if I gave a prize, then it kind of makes it a bit more serious. And I was hoping with the whole fact that it was called Coctagon, it would be a bit more like it's just like a fun thing, a fun promo, a bit of bragging rights. But yeah, a couple of people have asked, what do they win? But we can figure something out. Yeah, so we, remember with the chat, so it's like if someone, and I don't really think anyone would want to come onto this who is, big enough that they could really sway the chat. But, some people do have more, people have, more followers than others. It's a thing. So we thought to negate that and make it a bit fairer, there will be judges and the chat. So each one gets a vote. So the chat is a vote. They'll get their vote. That's 1 point. And then the judges get a point each. And okay, he does not. He's going to judge from a safe distance. I take that's a no then. That's fine. That's fine. Backwards, I hope. There you go. Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, even though it's not supposed to be a serious thing, it's supposed to be for fun. I do think fairness is probably important. And if it's just like I think people will be more interested in taking part if they know it's not just a popularity contest, you know? So clout is the prize. There you go. That's gonna be my answer. Thank you, Mono. That's gonna be my answer from now on. Clout is the prize. Do the judges have name coctologists? Yeah, maybe. So I got Dean, I got Camel. I'm going to be a judge on this first one. I don't know if that's going to be a continuing thing. But I do need one more because at the moment, we've only got 3 judges and the chat. There's a potential for a 50-50 there, and we can't have that. What's up, KSS? Yeah, there will still be a chat vote. Yes, absolutely. And I was thinking of doing that thing where it's like you can, if you get backers, you can, you know, steal points and stuff. But I'm gonna keep it kind of simple this first time at the very least. Not do that, and also because we do have some sign-up pages who entered, so you know they don't really have anything to back, so it wouldn't really be fair to them. So we're not going to do that at least for this first one. But yeah. Chat try to do an award show based on merit. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like you can't really stop, and I don't know if you should. It's just what can happen if it's online. You know, that's what can happen, and it's not. You know, like, and some people just like even out of this group, some people just have more of a audience than others. So. Critical reads will be watching from hospital. Good. Yes, I'll do a little bit of a hype up later on. Also, by the way, later on I will be going on to Godfo's channel at 8:30 tonight. But I'll let you all know about that. All right, I got to actually do some work. I've actually been quite productive of late, but yeah. So essentially, let me just give you a little bit of an update. So all these shadows and stuff that you see here that give the page a little bit of 3-dimensionality, you can see it on the things here and whatever, and you know, sort of anything that has it needs a bit of depth or whatever. That's what I do there, and also I do these masks here for the highlights and such on the characters. They're all done on all the pages that I have. So we're really up to the point of, all right, time to start essentially coloring, getting it all done. What's up, David L? Good David in the house. Great to see you, my friend. So now I've got to somehow remember, it was a while ago, how I do everything. But luckily for me, I do have, what is it? I do have things I can reference. So I think the first thing to do is I'm going to try and light these, the light coming in through the window here with the blow. So if I can find that. Crazy week all around, David. It has been nuts. Absolutely nuts. Started off with that awful killing in the train. That kicked off. I mean, things were already. You remember, speaking of V, remember that scene? It's my favorite scene from V. Where the guy, one of the cops is sort of predicting what will happen. He says, you know, with all this chaos, the city is a tinderbox. With all this chaos happening and other things, someone is gonna do something stupid, and that's all it's gonna take. And that's when he flicks the domino, and it's just and there's just stuff just starts popping off. It's like a friggin' chain reaction. I feel like that has happened. Is this going to be another doorway stream? Mr. Monkey Boy asks. I'm not sure what you mean. Do I do doorway streams? Have I spent an entire stream on a doorway? It's possible. All right. I find it really difficult to chat and do things, but I'm going to do my best. All right. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at? All right, that's it. Okay, so it should be just a mere case, a mere matter of selecting this. Yes, good. And then turning the light on. All right. Okay. It's a bit weird. That's all right. We'll blur it up. And this blur, how about that? Let's blur it up, see what happens. Okay. All right. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. V for Vendetta. Yeah, I got the Martz out earlier. Doesn't fit. Although it fits better than it used to. 15 kilos later. What's up, Well Read? How goes it? You know, we're getting by. We're getting through. It's a very weird time. It's a very weird time to be, you know, a comic book guy focused on trivial comic book things. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, all right, that's done. The work needs to get done. I mean, as awful as these last couple of weeks have been, you know, everyone has things in their lives that still need to get done, even if you're not really in the mood. All right, I guess I just need to start friggin'. I guess I just need to start doing it. And I think I got to remember how I friggin' do this, by the way. All right, so I think what I do is, if memory serves me well, which it doesn't, but we'll see how we go. Maybe I could just copy this from another file. That would be way better. Can I just copy it? I reckon I could. All right, let's do that. Rather than remaking it, let's just copy it from here. And then paste it in here. Look at that. It's already done. Now I might have to look at the magic of AI here. Ready? Oh, sort of okay. Kind of okay. Sorry that I'm late, Felix. You never have to. You never apologize. You are the link master. Thank you very much for being here. It is weird. I'm amazed I didn't get blocked by Masterson after calling him a dumb fuck. Well, everyone's Twitter was crazy yesterday. I know mine was. You know. Plus as well, tempers flare. You know what it's like. All right. Now, so essentially what I want to have is this is what I'm looking for, right? I know it wouldn't be up there, it'd be here because it's underneath, because that's clear. Okay, that's a bit more like it. Something like that, I reckon, is probably appropriate. Now, it is behind. So this is where it gets a bit tricky. So this here, you know what? I'm just going to get in here and just try some things. We'll see how we go. We'll all be Jacobins by the time it's done. I definitely feel like something different is happening. I was saying earlier, before you were here, that a lot of people, like, because he was the hero of the youth, and I was saying as well, like, my daughter is absolutely devastated. It was his guy. Like, Charlie Kirk is on in our house all the time because of her. you know, she's learning all this stuff, which is kind of like an antidote to what she learns in school, you know. And it's a massive mask off moment for all of us, but I think especially for the young people. If the whoever is in charge now, the kind of millennial, a Gen X kind of millennial boomer conglomerate of, you know, liberal weirdos, thinks that the Gen Alpha, and to a certain extent even generation whatever it was before that, what is it, the Generation Z, the Zooms, I don't know, if they think they're gonna just go along blindly with everything, they're in for a pretty rude awakening, I think. Yeah, it is. It is hard to lose someone like that. Like, it's a real big wake up call to the reality of the situation, and, you know, the tolerant left are showing their colors like crazy at the moment. And I think everyone is seeing it. And in December here, they're going to try and introduce the social media ban for under 16. So, you know, that'll be interesting. They're even talking about trying to figure out ways to ban VPNs, which I don't know how they're going to do. I think they've tried that in other countries and it just, you know, never works. But yeah, exactly. 75% of YouTube viewers are children. And just that's where people learn stuff. That's where, you know, you actually, I know for me, that's where I learned, you know, the truth on so much of this stuff. I was an idiot in my youth, not even my youth, it's all throughout my 20s. A complete moron, totally indoctrinated. It's sad she's learning this part of life early. Yeah, I mean, I was 21 when 9/11 happened. So, you know, I was already a bit older when I had that big wake up call. So yeah, she's only 13. And as well, you know, the boys in that generation are 100% against all of this, but the girls, they all think that, you know, girls are so conformist. They all think that everyone else, they're followers essentially. So they all think, oh, everyone else believes this stuff, so they all just kind of go along with it. I don't know how much of them actually believe it, but yeah, she definitely feels kind of alone there, that's for sure, on that side of things. Okay, it says 21 during 9/11. I was 23. You're just a baby kid. What? So you're 2 years older than me, and I'm a baby. Man, I was like 10 during 9/11. Yeah, 9/11 was and you know, obviously we're in Australia, so we it happened at around about, I don't know, midnight or something like that, and I'd just gotten back from work. So, because I used to stack shelves at kind of thing, you know, do the night shift restocking and everything. And so I came home. Actually, I didn't come home. I went to my girlfriend's house and put the TV on and saw one of the towers, and then I saw the other one hit live, and yeah, I didn't go to sleep that night. Bearcroft, listen, kid, you got a lot to learn. Sumo says, Jesus, you guys are just kids. Well, how old are you, Sumo? I mean, if you want to say. Probably don't. I don't know. Oh, this is so much easier than bloody redrawing it. Who was that guy that said that? Never redraw what you can just copy. That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. I do have to angle it though. Very important. A different angle of attack. Maybe that's too much. Maybe it would be less actually. Like that. There we go. That's better. No, that's not right. There we go. Maybe. All right. My friends laughed about Breitbart, but demanded sympathy for Christopher Hitchens. These people, they that's another tragedy. Like obviously, like there's a massive tragedy at the moment. I think for the family, because I can't even imagine what that's like. But then also there is the tragedy of like these people don't just like they don't come around very often. There's a reason why they are who they are. There is a reason why him at 31 was able to build this massive machine that really played a huge role in helping Trump get elected. And at 31, that's like a massive, friggin', that's huge, yeah? Those sorts of people, they don't come around very often. Tim Pool yesterday was like, Charlie Kirk is, hundreds of times more popular and influential than I am. And we all think like Tim Pool is this massive YouTuber, but yeah, he's right. Compared to him, I mean, compared to Charlie Kirk, is kind of, Charlie Kirk built, helped to, was instrumental in building a machine, this machine, this infrastructure. And it can't just be, you can't just, and that's the deep long-term tragedy of it. He's irreplaceable. There's not just going to be someone else just swoops into his position and does it. You see that whenever a big visionary dies, or in this case is murdered, it's never quite the same. Like Apple, when they got rid of Jobs, Apple tanked and was almost bankrupt. They bring him back, and it was already a massive company. They got rid of him, and it tanked. They brought him back, and now it's one of the biggest companies in the world, most influential. Elon Musk is another guy like that. Like these people are not normal. They're not replaceable. So yeah, it's like that's what I tweet about. I can't even begin to think about how different the country is going to be, but also because America kind of leads the way, the world even, and the same thing with Trump. Like, can you imagine Trump had his head moved this much when that guy shot at him? How different the world would be. Imagine if Musk never bought X. Tim Pool skates like a bald dude, lacking confidence in a. I've seen small clips of him. I haven't. I mean, he's kind of getting on now. I mean, I gave up skating at 29. I'd broken my wrist and arms so many times. My wrist, like I stopped counting after 15. My arm I broke twice previously. Tall ligaments, back was just completely wrecked. Grazes, everything. But I still kept going. But I was 29, I broke my elbow. And it was at that time, it's like, what am I doing here? So I was like, yeah, there comes a time where you're like, you don't really put in the effort that you did when you're a young man. When I see Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero is like 60 something. He's still going at it. I don't know how they do it. They killed a possible future president. Yeah, they absolutely did. I didn't even think of that. Didn't even think of that. See, like, you will, and we'll never know. And oh God, we'll never know. That's a line from Unforgiven I always think about. It's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take everything he's got and everything you'll ever have. And we were all up in a kind of groundswell of collective rage anyway because of the Ukrainian woman. I was tweeting out like, make prisons full again. Let's reopen the asylums. Have you guys seen the graph of the asylums? I don't know if it might be an Australian graph. I think it was. I would show it to Rob, but he would just get so angry and leave the show like he did that, which I understand. Rob doesn't like getting political. But there's a graph that shows when the asylums closed, and it's straight away like when the asylums closed and the prisons went up like that, which just goes to show like there's a percentage of people out there in the world that just should not be on the streets. Yeah. But the problem is, and you guys have this as well, is that these magistrates, they're all about, they hate sending people to prison and they hate the friggin' they hate the statistics. So they let people go depending on what race they are, and they also, when they can't do that, they just say, oh, that person's white, so that the statistics don't look so bad. It's like, it's friggin' nuts. Like, we live in an insane world. Tony Alva ruined my mate's t-shirt with a shit signature and 79. I'm sorry to hear that, Richie. I'm very sorry to hear that. My claim to fame is I was in Wellington in 2002, 2001. And I'm standing by the side of the ramp and I see this guy just like this there. And I like, if you know the posture of Steve Caballero. So I went over and like, I don't know if I called him Steve. I was sort of like, Mr. Caballero, and yeah, we hung out a little bit, skated a little bit together. And then that night, because I'd met him that day, everyone was out at this nightclub, which I hate, but I was there. And he was there, so we went out and hung out, and I was like, damn, I'm hanging out with Steve Caballero. If you're not a skater, like, no one cares. But he is one of the big guys. I think. I don't want to overdo it. Magistrates, yeah. Did anyone know that they're not even actual real judges? They're just people. They didn't pass the bar. Deciding who gets like that is. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's like mega famous. I think he was in Tony Hawk games. Pretty sure. Yeah, he is the GOAT. Like Cab. He invented the name Cab. If you're a skater, you would know what that is. Let's get off there. Get off here. Okay, says, I recently met Yahoo Serious. We talked for a good 50 minutes while he bagged my groceries. I asked him if he knew Bancroft. Said he does. I don't believe you. What is Yahoo Serious up to these days? Yeah, I mean, the dizzying heights of young Einstein and then the lows of whatever came after. He was just too ahead of his time, I think. Cabra's probably thinking about, who is this poof in roller skates? No, he was totally cool. That's the thing with the whole rollerbladers versus skateboarders thing. It only existed at the lowest levels. The minute you got up to professional, even not even like semi-professionals and everything, everyone was cool, because the rollerbladers were like, what? We don't have any animosity. We were like, we got all of our trick names and we were like kind of copying those guys. We love those guys. Who doesn't? We all our like trick names were named after them. We were like, oh, we'll call this a stale and everything because it kind of looks like what they're doing. And those guys, they went through the bad periods of the 90s, like where no one cared about skating. So they were just happy that people were into it again. So we were all friends. It was weird. It was like when they're in magazines and stuff, they would put on the show and then they would come skate with us, We all knew each other. I mean, I personally didn't know any of the American big famous ones, but I know a lot of my friends did because they were over in America the whole time. I knew all of the big Australian ones, and some of them were, world number 1s and 2s for a time. But then again, some of them ended up being murderers. So, it's, this and that. That's what a fruit voter would say. I thought Kangaroo Jack killed him. I loved young Einstein Moromi. That's the kind of weird Australian movie I like. Just like completely off the wall, bizarre. I never met Tony Hawk. I never met Tony Hawk. I was never in the same area as him. Actually, of all of them, I don't know Tony Hawk's feelings on rollerblading. I know he did a kind of like a mock thing of it. But, whatever. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Lighting. Let there be light. Be light. So there should be some lighting on the sides of these hitchamagetches. What's up, Mo? We got Mo Biggs in the house. Swinging in. So I think I'm just going to light them up. Let's do that. Because I don't really know how to light them yet. I don't really know where I'm at here, but we'll figure it out. This is the thing about friggin' coloring comics. Almost every page, you got to friggin' figure it out again. It's like a puzzle. Speaking of, there's still one puzzle left on the website. Young Einstein was a fun movie. I haven't seen it since Yahoo Serious had his 15 minutes of fame, so maybe it doesn't hold up. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long while either. I'm sure it's very dated, but I think it would be fine. I don't want to do this. I think it would be okay. Let's just isolate these ones out. I mean, it always made perfect sense to me that the person who, you know, discovered how to split the atom and relativity and all that would just be a farmer from Tasmania. It made perfect sense. I saw it at the cinema too, Richie Do. Did you believe it? Australia used to be a serious country. Australia used to have, I'm not even joking, Australia used to have an actual movie industry, film industry. Like, they filmed a lot of the Mission Impossibles here. They filmed The Matrix here. We used to be an actual country back in the day. Those days are far behind us now. Believe it or not, you know, studios aren't chomping at the bit to film their movies in communist Victoria. Surprise, surprise. They filmed all of the excellent Mad Max movies there, the ones Bancroft refuses to watch. I tried to watch them. I tried. Australia put the mate in Matrix. And I mean, you know, all we do now is we export actors now, you know. That's all we do. And everyone says, all bands, like, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was Australian. And we go, yeah. That's all we do now. That's all we're capable of. That's the brain drain. John Wong for $2. No worries, Victoria can be the new Bollywood. Yes, 100%. 100%. The numbers are staggering. Absolutely. I don't know what it would be. I think you guys have had something like an 8% increase in population due to immigration in the since COVID, something like that. And you guys have like changed president and got in, you know, massive border security things over that 8%. We're at 53%. Almost all of them from India. 53%. It's like, I think there's, you know, we're a country of we were a country of about 21, 22 million, and then like they brought in, I don't know, 1.5 million over the lot in a year or something. I don't know the exact numbers. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, was Hugh Jackman in Neighbours? Using the old noggin here. Yes, I do believe he was for a brief stint. I know Russell Crowe was only in a cameo, like not in a cameo, just as an extra. I do believe Hugh Jackman was. Hugh Jackman was in many, many movies and stuff in Australia before he ever broke it big in the States. He was the song and dance man. Like, that was his thing. He was like, he played, you know, a lot of effeminate characters, which is why it was surprising he was going to be Wolverine. Australians were like, Americans are like, who? And Australians are like, what? And then he became the great Wolverine, you know. He got, no, pun intended, he got jacked. I know, right? Everything we did with you guys for the prison colony. And Australians are very welcoming. I mean, Australians don't dislike Indians. You know, we like Indians. It's like we don't want to become India, though, you know? So it's It's pretty crazy. Look at the small difference it makes. Jake is doing his colors as well at the moment. What a difference a little light makes. See, I'm going to use this lighting to figure out how to light them and what needs to be lit, essentially. Yeah. Yes. Let's keep going. Let's keep it up. Let's not do that. Is fecal pollution in the rivers up? It's becoming a problem in Canada. I don't know. They all seem to, the ones that I come across, they all seem to be exceedingly wealthy. They're who I come across. Well, actually, you know, if you get like a Uber driver, they'll all be Indian these days. So people don't know where they're living. Where are they living? We don't have enough houses for us. Where are people like getting 1.5 million and like where are they living? Are they all living in, you know, a house with like 30 people? It's a mystery. I'm up to 10 pages in the first week. Fuck you. I have not been quite so productive as you have been, Jake. But you know, I don't work like that. I don't work on pages. I do things like I'll probably get this lighting done, and then I'll go onto another page and do the lighting on another page. You know, I don't really. That's my excuse. You don't have enough houses, or they're too expensive. Us pray to. It's the one and the same thing. That's like two sides of the same coin. We don't have enough houses. We can't build more houses because of the crazy red tape that comes with building houses in Australia, and that contributes to the housing crisis that we currently face. So the median house price in, say, a city like Melbourne or Sydney is already 10x the median wage. So just say you earn $100,000, the median house price where you live is going to be $1 million, and that's set to shoot up to $1.5 million in the next, you know, couple of years. Like it's very, very normal in Australia, in a normal suburban area, nothing special for houses to go for millions of dollars, multiple millions, especially if there's a lot of land. They have more houses than houses. They are building a lot of houses. That is true. That is happening. I saw a viral post recently of a house for sale in Australia for over $2 million. It looked like it was worth 100. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like I've been to auctions and seen houses go for $3 million, and we're talking dilapidated 2-bedroom shacks in the areas that I live. And I'm not living in some posh place. I don't live in a bad neighborhood, but it's not like Bel Air. You know, it's just what would otherwise be a pretty normal Melbourne suburban place. But you know, they can knock them down because there's those old lots. The land there's quite a lot of it. So they can knock them down, put up 8 units, sell each unit for over $1 million, and make crazy bucks. Housing prices are so out of line, says Mo. They had to sell the R in. The state is completely bankrupt. They don't know it yet, but well, they do know it. But yeah, that's why they're importing everyone, because they're just they're hoping and praying that if they import third world friggin' tax base, they'll be able to pay for all this stuff that they're overextended on. But I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the productivity from the productivity statistics from the third world, it's not that high. I don't know. I don't know if that comes as a shock to you. A lot of the people who come over saying they have degrees in this and that, turns out those degrees weren't actually that much to begin with. So, yeah. This is getting a bit anecdotal. At the job I worked at, we hired a lady, and she said she had all these qualifications, and we're asking her to do work, and it's not getting done. And we're like, what's happening? Come on, like, get going. We got to get this done. And she was just like, I don't know what to do. Hang on, you said you were this, and this. He's like, yeah. So you should be able to do that. Yeah, but I can't. No, well, okay. She had to go. And yeah, I've come to learn that's actually quite common. Bancroft, that looks insane. Well done. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, this is the fun part. This is when all this, because it looks kind of, boring beforehand, looks flat, and, you just have to trust the process. But now comes the fun where you get to light it up and add drama, and yeah, they'll be good. I'm not saying marrying your cousin will result in generational retardation, but it is a problem. It is an issue. So does the AUD continually go down in value against the dollar? I don't know, actually. I don't really pretend to know how all that works. That's probably a bit above my pay grade. It's been fairly stable for a few years now. We're sitting on about between 60 and 65 cents, I think. The thing is, any job can be pretty much learned. Lie your way into the position, and with enough hustle on YouTube videos, you can probably get by. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I kind of did that myself. I wouldn't say I lied. I said, my now boss, this was 13 years ago, said, do you have any textile experience? And I said, yes, I do. And I actually did. I had made patterns for dog beds, right? So I did have to actually make patterns that line up and everything. So there was a little bit of experience there, but really it was just graphic. I was just doing graphic design stuff. But now I do textile patterns. So yeah, and I learned it. You also just got to be able to learn things, and I don't know if people want to do that. Mo says, all they care about is the family savings from having to pay for one wedding. Oh, I read that too far apart from what Richie wrote, so I didn't quite get it. I do have to bounce kind of soon. I did want to point this out, though. I did want to show you guys this. Tomorrow, for the first time ever, the Coq de Gon will be taking place. I did a straw poll, and those are the results of it. These are the 8 contestants that will be taking part in tomorrow's contest, starting 9 p.m. tomorrow. So what I'm going to do with these is, just like in a normal, like a tournament where you have like seeded entries. This is why I wanted to do this, to also get a bit of buzz, let people get ready, know who's going to be in it. But also seed these. So the top voters will go against the bottom voters in round 1. Yeah. So, Flip City might go with Call Sign Orion, Shadowpunk against, I don't know exactly just yet, but it's going to be like that. Yeah. And then these two will go against each other. And that's how it's going to go. The last time Bancroft held a straw poll, Dean got screwed over. Well, Dean will be a judge. So Dean is acknowledged as the creator of the name Coctagon. He said it back in the cockfight days. The tops versus the bottoms. That sounds gay. Look, what do you mean? What about Coctagon sounds gay? I don't understand, Sark. I think it's perfectly, you're a fan of creator-owned comics, surely. So I will be in touch with. I've got a little group with these guys. I'll get them all the information they need to get ready, fighting fit. If the book is shit, I'm roasting it. Go ahead, David. You in the chat will be one of. I warned them in the thing. I said, look, I think we're gonna try and go for constructive criticism if need be, if it comes to that. But the chat is going to do what the chat's going to do, and I think they're ready. The bottoms are the the chat will have a vote. It won't be the chat voting, the chat deciding everything, but they will have a vote. So be there and have your voice heard. Take part in the great competition. We'll see how it goes. Herding 8 creators on a semi-monthly basis. I did say, I know, right? It was a struggle to get 8. So I did say it can work with 4 and it can work with 6. As long as we've got even numbers above 4, it can work. And it might not be, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. It's not personal. It's strictly business. It's just my opinion. Exactly. They're ready for it. That's why I had to do a sign up, because I'm like, it's for this, so they know what they're getting into. And it is all for fun. It is all for promotion. Before this whole craziness took off with Charlie Kirk, a lot of people were talking about this. A lot of people were thinking about it. So the concept has legs. I don't know how it's going to go off. With everyone is appropriately focused on Charlie Kirk. But we'll see how we go. Another super. I wish I knew how to pronounce your name. Jian Wong. $10. Thank you very much. Fun story. I grad from RMIT aeronautic engineering 20 years ago, class of 100. One guy got a job at Ford in Campbellfield. One guy got a job at Holden in Port Melbourne. One lady got a job at Boeing. She's Indian. 20 years ago was a little bit different, I feel, but interesting. That's pretty cool, though. Are you working in that field yourself? And thank you for the super chat. I got an offer at RMIT, but I turned them down for Swinburne because I just felt they had a little bit more prestige, and they had a really good workplace program, which served me very well. Nope. No. Felix has a point. What is Felix's point? I think you should leave the executive's decisions to Mel. I always do. Felix. Always throw it by her first. That hurting statement of mine wasn't a slight towards you, by the way. It's a statement of how fickle creators can be. Yeah, let's hope they all show up. We don't get any scratches. That would suck. Yeah, not even the same world. I know, right? 5 years ago, it wasn't even the same world. Oh, if it's good, I might back it. Excellent. Yeah. Some of them will be signups. I couldn't get, I did actually have 8 people who say they were interested. They did sign up, but then they can't do it on Friday. So there's 3 people who had active campaigns who just wanted to do it, but can't do it this Friday. So, they could do it next time. So then I went to, there are some, so Shadowpunk, Gemini Crusaders, Morningstar maybe, sign-ups. So yeah, if a creator doesn't show up, their opponent must face Noah. That would be an option. Insult away. The insults I feel like are gonna fly tomorrow. I feel like they are. But the whole point of it is like, let's make it interesting. Let's make it fun. Let's add a little bit of drama into this. And hopefully they'll get more people to watch. So we'll see how we go. All right. I think that's going to be it from me. I will see you. I'll be on that Godfoes channel, later. I'll tweet it out. And I'll see you tomorrow for the friggin' Coctagon. It's going to be great. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Is anyone streaming? Is anyone live? We can do a raid. Let's have a look. Let's have a gander. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I'm an idiot. The Don is live. Let's go to the Don. Live with a restream on September 11. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good day, good night, wherever it is. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Perth made an Australian video, and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.
Hailing us!